You are speech therapy.
I am.
You are a speech therapist for kids
I am, and adult.
and adults.
Yeah.
And you just told me that you had your first adult patient today.
I know.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's been a while. It felt good.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. And we'll get into all that.
Yeah.
What you work with adults with, what you work with children for.
Mm-hmm.
So take me back to your origin story, because I'm a big superhero fan. I love good origin stories.
Oh yeah. I don't think we've ever had this conversation.
No.
I don't think so.
Uh-uh.
So I originally went to Valdosta State. That was, I always say, the other red and black school in Georgia. So went there 2008, was dead set on being a nurse. I was like, I'm gonna be a nurse. I felt like in that point of view, I was gonna save the world.
Mhm.
So I went to school there. And I was just like, I couldn't get into the nursing program. So I was like, well, I'll go to a different school. So I went to Georgia Southwestern. Have you heard of that school? It's
No.
in Americus, Georgia.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, I'll say down there, it's kind of well known. So I went there, went to nursing school. And I was like, man, I was like, do I really want to do this? Like I started doing my clinicals and stuff. And I kind of lost my kick for it.
Yeah.
Should you say. So I actually ended up having an aunt. She had a stroke when I was in nursing school. So went to the hospital, went to go see her and everything. And when all the therapies came in, speech was one of them. So I was like, I think that's what I want to go. I think that's what I want to do. So I was like, I kind of toyed around with it, cried my eyes out, went and talked to my advisor. And I was just like, we're not doing this anymore. I'm just going to finish out the semester and I'm going back to Valdosta State and I'm going to be a speech therapist. And she was like, good for you. She was just like, good for you. She was like, sometimes people figure it out and you figured it out.
Yeah.
So I actually I stayed at Georgia Southwestern for about a year. Then I went back to Valdosta, finished up there, graduated, got my undergrad there, and then went to South Carolina State for my master's.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
That's my front story in a nutshell.
I feel like that a lot of people, like that's not a very uncommon story that people figure out their college. They're in college. They're like, yeah, this isn't it. This is what I want to do. I'm dropping this.
Yeah. And the funny part is this is gonna really shock you. So when I was younger, I had like trouble with like some S's or something. I vaguely remember it, but I remember my mom was like, you gotta go to speech. And when I'm telling you, I don't know what kicked in me, but I was like, I'm not going to speech. So I like worked on my S's on my own.
Yeah.
So I would not have to go to speech therapy. I thought that was like the funniest thing. So that was that. And then when I actually first went off to college, my mom was like, you should go be a speech teacher. And I was like, no, thank you. I was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But I also didn't know what it also entailed.
Right.
So vaguely, I was just like, speech teacher, I don't want to do that. Nope, not my gig.
But seeing the ones come in and work with your aunt.
Yep.
Made it personal.
It did.
And it also showed you a different side of it that you're like,
exactly.
That's what I want to do.
Yep. I was like, this is where my greatest impact is. So yeah. So that's how I felt about it.
You're speaking my language, because that is my word that I'm using for 26.
There you go.
Impact. Like that's I want to make an impact. So
Yeah.
I love that you just said that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You found that you have a deep why.
Right. That's why I tell people. I was talking business with somebody yesterday about some things as I'm in the grocery store. I'm like, yeah, I think I want to do this. And I was just honest. I was like, I said, I see these things. I don't think they're right. I would love to do this in my business, restructure it, and give people what they actually need. Not just, the money will come with it. But also the thing is, I want to make a bigger impact than what I'm seeing. So, yeah.
Yeah. And they might not know this, but we've had a conversation that you started your business during COVID, right?
I did. So, to give you a little bit background on that, so I toyed with it, and somebody was like, well, I won't say somebody. I had gone to my first appointment with my allergist, and he was asking, what do you do for work? And I was like, yeah, I'm a speech therapist. He was like, I don't know any speech therapists. He was like, do you have a business card? And that was that moment, and I was like, yeah. And it wasn't like a business card. I just kind of learned trick of the trade when I go off to like conferences, when people always ask me for my business card. I'm like, I don't have a business. And I was like, we don't really need a business card on a business. It just has my name and contact info. So I had it. He was like, oh, he was like, well, he said, that'll be good so we can send clients. And I'm like, but I don't have a business. Like, I'm still like, I don't have a business.
Mhm.
So then fast forward to 21, one of my friends, she had just opened up her business. So I was like talking to her, I was like, what do I need to do? And she was like, you got to know this, and this. And I still probably have those papers to this day where I wrote down everything she told me. It's literally on a sheet of paper. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And so I started kind of like working it, doing it. Because the biggest thing is getting on with the insurance companies. That is a headache in itself.
Yeah.
And I mean, just, if you're on the side of the customer using your insurance, you can only imagine how they do it. They give us a run for our money as providers in medical.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know you would think they wouldn't, but I always tell my customers that I'm like, they do us the exact same way. I said, just being honest. So I started like getting on with the insurance companies, and that was the hardest piece. I mean, I felt like it took almost about a year, and I cried my eyes out because I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And they'll send you information back and say, oh, you forgot this on your paperwork, or you forgot that on your paperwork. And I'm like, why? Why didn't I'm like, okay. And then at a certain point, I was just like, no, y'all are making stuff up. I remember one time they put, well, we don't accept people because you have a P.O. box. I'm like, I don't have a P.O. box. So I started doing that, and I had my first virtual client, and I think I would meet with them on Wednesdays, and I would sit at my kitchen table and I would just work with them. And then I did have in the very beginning 2 like in-person clients, but they kind of fell off. But that was that. But once I like started putting myself out there, advertising, it just started to blossom.
It kind of sounds like it was a God thing.
It was. It really
How
was.
everything just kind of fell into place for you.
Yeah, because it was at one point I was just like, especially when it was the insurance. And I got to that point, and I think Trey asked me, he was like,
Trey's your
boyfriend.
boyfriend.
He asked me, he was like,
Great guy,
what
by the
is,
way.
oh yeah.
I like him a
Oh
lot.
yeah, I appreciate it. He was like, he asked me something about the insurance, and I think I shut down mentally because I knew like all what I had to go through, and they kept denying me. And I was like, I shut down, and I think I just was in tears. And he was like, what's wrong? He was like, I'm sorry. And I was like, it has been brutal trying to get on. And it was just simply Medicaid. And I mean, the website is atrocious. It's something from like the 70s. Like, if that gives you perspective.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like clear cut. It's not easy. Like, it's just like layers and layers and layers. Well, where'd you go to college at? If I'm uploading a resume, why am I having to type all that? It's that type of stuff.
Well, that's kind of like, and not to veer into political stuff, but
Yeah.
when Elon was working with Doge, he was talking about how all the stuff like air traffic control is like antiquated 1980s equipment.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is 2025.
It's 2020. Yeah. I told a company today, so we use them to like give our tests. So I try to be very innovative. So instead of us being on like paper and pencil and having to score it, some of our tests still are, but for the vast majority, it's on the iPad, and I love it. It's like my client has an iPad, I have an iPad, I'm scoring it, it shoots everything out instantly. And they are so behind on the times. They're like, okay, go ahead and let's renew. So I'm like, okay, I'm renewing. I'm doing my paperwork and everything. They're like, is this correct? This is correct. Yes. So I get to the end, and they're like, what time would you like for us to call you so we can take your payment? I'm like, it is 2025. Can I just put my credit card number in and you run it?
My card is right here in my hand. I'm ready to give you money.
Like I'm
take
like,
it.
yeah. I'm like, just why are we just doing? And they sent me a survey today. How's our service? And I let into them. I said, it is 2025. Let me pay. And I kind of understand their theoretics. They don't want everybody to have access to this, which is fine because they have to make sure you have licenses and stuff. And I don't have a problem with that. That's fine. Ask for all of that at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make me have to call. And I'm like, I'm working.
Right.
So when it's yeah. It's just
As
those little things.
as business owners, we have our day full of business stuff,
Right.
not to jump through hoops
Yeah.
500 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
get that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's frustrating. And healthcare and insurance, that's a big topic today.
Oh yeah.
So they don't make things easier.
Oh no, and I will tell clients that I'm always 100% with people. I'm like, listen, this is the price that you pay today. If your insurance happens to cover it, we will give you a credit or your money back.
Mhm.
That is our guarantee that I try to stand behind. And you did the interviews with the parents. You heard
Mhm.
one of them say that she's gonna make sure your bill is taken care of. And I always tell parents, I say, I've told them, I'm like, insurance is the same thing they do to you, they do to me. They're gonna give you crap, and yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah,
When you're dealing with the public and dealing with their money, they you can't mess that up.
you can't mess it up. You can't. You
Mm-mm.
you can't. You can't retract it.
No.
Because we did have an instance the other day, and we just decided to just kind of debunk some stuff. What we were doing, we were calling people in advance and letting them know what they will owe beforehand. And then I said, you know what? I said, if we get it wrong on that end, I said, let's do this. Let's tell them up front when they call and say, this is the max amount you will owe when you come in if your insurance is not covering it once we do our verification of benefits call. That way, there's the expectation and they know they
Every,
can either pay or not.
everything's upfront and clear. There's no surprises.
Right. And
Yeah.
typically it's a rare occasion, rare like unicorns that'll, get deep into questions. And we're just always like, hey, if you have a problem with it, take it up with your insurance company, but this is what you owe. And we can't rush, because some people want us to rush the claims. We're like, we can't rush the claims. They have to process. So, yeah.
And they run it at the speed of their own time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. At the speed of their own time, literally.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what made you come to Noonan?
So I moved here, and I might have told you this. I moved here literally when COVID happened.
Yeah.
Literally.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
March of 20 is when I moved here.
See, I moved I think it was going into Super Bowl Sunday.
Okay.
I think that's when I moved here.
You beat me by a few months.
Yep. So I was getting acclimated. My apartments that I moved in, they were more community based.
Mhm.
So everybody kind of like hung out and stuff. I was getting to know people, and then shut down in March.
Mhm.
But I moved here for a job. So I was working at Roosevelt Warm Springs Hospital.
Okay.
So yeah, I was there for 3 years. Loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. But I knew it was time to move on in life. But if I ever had to go back anywhere, it was there. But yeah, those were crazy times.
It was. Yeah, I remember moving here with my girlfriend at the time.
Uh-huh.
I moved here. We got an apartment together
Uh-huh.
in March of 20,
Oh wow.
and then the world shut down.
Yep. And then everybody was stuck at
We
home.
were stuck at home.
But the funny part was,
We ended up getting married, and everything. We didn't break up because of that. And,
yeah,
it worked out.
yeah,
It was funny because everybody said, the whole thing of,
yeah,
the first year of marriage is always tough. I'm
right.
like, maybe, but the
Maybe.
first year of us living together was COVID.
And that's
We're good.
different.
We're good. First year marriage is we're way past that.
Yeah. But yeah, everybody was like going crazy because they had to stay at home. I was like, nope, I'm good. Because I was like, I don't have to do anything on the weekend.
Yeah.
I can just, just kick it. And because I was still working. So, and then I felt like everybody became close at work because that was all we could do was go to work.
Yeah.
And that was it.
So what made you leave? Did you get a
Yeah,
client?
so at the time I switched jobs. I started working for Piedmont.
Okay.
So yeah. Yep.
So Piedmont led you to this?
No, I was working, I was still at Roosevelt when I started my practice.
Okay.
Yeah, I was still working at Roosevelt.
Okay.
Yeah, so because I opened up my practice in 21. And so I was very transparent with my boss. I didn't want to hide anything. I was like, hey, I'm doing this. It's not going to be a conflict of interest. I'm not going to be leaving. She was like, oh, okay, that's fine. So, yeah, and so I worked it and worked it, and, a year about a year in, um, at Piedmont, that's when I got the grant from, the chamber,
Yes.
and that's when they did the Go Digital,
Hmm.
and that's when everything ramped up. I was getting all those phone calls, and I was like January, I was like, "I gotta quit my job." I was like, "Gotta quit," and then I left
So what'd
and
you do?
went full time doing my business.
Found an office?
Well, I already had my
Oh, you
office.
already had one.
So I had my office on 15 Perry Street.
I looked at those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I had my office there. Let me think. I got it in because I got my house in 22. So I got my office in 22.
Okay.
Yep. Got my office in 22. I had 3 offices there. So I kept growing and they gave me one of the bigger offices. It was really nice.
Nice.
And then 24 is when I got my office now.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, so we're just growing.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've been there and I've seen your parents and the kids just love you.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah.
Um, so for somebody that's never worked with a speech therapist before
Mhm.
or had questions,
Mhm.
in a nutshell, what is it that you do?
So I'll give it to you twofold. So I'll start with the kids. So for kids, typically we're working with the population of kids who are nonverbal.
Hmm.
So they can't talk at all. So we're teaching them how to communicate, whether that's verbally or with a device or with pictures. We're teaching them something.
Hmm.
And then we have our typical kids that we kind of like see in school where they can't pronounce words and stuff like that. So we have that. And then for the adults, that's when you're getting more into like people who have had strokes. Like I had a client today, they had well, I won't talk about that, but just different how should I say it? I won't say disabilities, that's not quite the word. Anything that can cause like a sudden change,
Yeah.
basically. So you can have swallowing difficulties from a stroke. You can actually have swallowing difficulties from a couple of different things. You can have like neck surgery. And so, yeah, just different things that can clip a nerve, shockingly enough. You can have like really tight swelling. So, yeah, I know.
Wow.
I know, right? Yeah. Crazy enough, right?
I get the having a stroke and having
Yep.
to relearn that, but all the other stuff
Is
is
new.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
would never have thought that.
Yep.
Wow.
Mhm.
So what's a normal session if there is a normal session? What does that look like?
So typically you're gonna do so if somebody's had a stroke, they're either gonna have one or two things happen. They're either gonna have trouble communicating, which is typically called aphasia, or the other side of it, the cognitive deficit. So they can't remember things, they can't give their name, so things kind of like that. So a session would kind of look like we would either do cognitive or aphasia therapy, and then if they have like swallowing therapy that they need, then we would also do that too.
Okay.
But something else I want to tap into, kind of like what I talked about, there are other diseases that we kind of work with is like ALS. So somebody with ALS, they might have swallowing issues, or because it is degenerative, then we're working on like them being able to have another form of communication. So if you've seen clients or people with if they have a wheelchair and they have like the iPad that's attached and they're like looking at it and it's communicating for them, I would work with somebody like that to get that accuracy for them to be able to communicate.
Yeah, like
Isn't that crazy?
it is.
Uh-huh.
It blows my mind, and it blew my mind when you came in and did your videos here.
Mhm.
You brought your device,
Mhm.
and
Which is now broken.
did you? Is it really?
It is.
Okay.
Somebody slammed it the other day.
Oh, that's messed up.
It was a loaner, so the lady, she was like, "We'll just take it and they'll fix it." I was like, "It's done."
So you have your devices,
Uh-huh.
and you give them to the kids,
Mhm.
and the ALS patients have their
Mhm.
devices.
Right.
Talk to me about that. Like, so what? How does that help, and how does that work?
So it's almost like, well, I'll say it like this. When somebody needs to communicate, it doesn't need to be difficult for somebody else to understand on the receiving end,
Mhm.
if that makes any sense. So it's just like, because a lot of people will ask me, can you teach them sign language? Well, for one, I don't know sign language like that. That's number one. But two, you want to teach something, or I want to give my clients a form of communication that somebody else can understand. If they walk up to a total stranger, I want them to be able to communicate. So some of the things that I definitely teach some of my kids is like being able to press the button like, hi, my name is Chad, or hi, my name is Isis, things like that, because they got to be able to communicate.
Mhm.
And some of my kids, I've had like back and forth conversations like, how are you doing today? Are you happy or sad? I'm happy. Oh, okay. Well, what did you do so far today? And they have like a little page of things that they could have done. So it's you want that two-way conversation, like we normally would have. Now for the adults, because typically a kid is learning language skills, so
Mhm.
they're learning how to communicate all together. But with an adult, especially, we'll just give somebody who has ALS, they're not learning how to communicate. They're learning to communicate in a different way. Does that make any
Yeah,
sense?
it does.
Yeah.
It does.
So with the device, and I love it, they have to look at like a picture or a tile for like so many seconds, and it picks up on what they want to say. Hmm.
Okay. So is using the devices, especially for kids, is that like the first step in teaching them how to talk?
It just depends. And I
Okay.
and I always tell parents, I never will tell a parent I will teach a child how to talk. Here's why. Because I don't want to give anybody false hope. That's number one.
That's fair.
That's number one. I would never give anybody false hope. What I will say is I can teach them how to communicate,
Mm.
but you got to be willing to be a part of this fight. If you're not willing, then I can't. Then we can't be in the same fight together. Just being honest, because and I've had parents, get upset, and they're like, well, we really want them to talk, and I will explain to parents sometimes that's just not your child's preferred way to want to communicate,
Yeah.
and you have to respect that. So
I bet that's a hard,
it's hard.
hard, like that's hard to come to Jesus with.
It really
But
is, and I think it's even harder for me because when I don't have kids,
right.
but two, when I've been in this field for so long, because it's about to be year 10, so it's like I've seen a lot, and I'm not saying I know it all, but I know enough that it's like sometimes I'm just like, this is just not their preferred way to communicate.
Yeah, like Jameson's 2.5,
Mm-hmm.
and as his dad, like I want him to do things. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're really early in this journey, but it's like there's gonna be times when I'm gonna want things for him. He's not gonna want it
Yeah.
or be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Not even on that kind of level,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
it's still like it's gonna have to have a moment for me of
Mm-hmm.
growing
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
learning that that's just not him.
Yeah, and I had a parent one time, and I mean we're working with them, especially to get them one of the AAC devices, and she was just in tears, and she was like, "Does it get better?" And I said, "If you bring them every week, if you're working with them, this will get better." I
Yeah.
say you have to stick with it. One thing I would say, they have stuck with it, and they're like, we're paying out of pocket. Is there something that we can do? I gave them a resource. I was like, hey, go get this resource. They will. I said, from my understanding, they will give you money because of X, Y, and Z. And sure enough, they were like, hey, we got approved. I was like, good. I said, now I got to write a reason as to what amount of money you should get because you're doing all of this. And they were like, thank you so much. And it makes me feel good that they're at least listening, because some people, unfortunately, they don't. And I'm just like, well, this is why we haven't gotten this far, because these things haven't happened. And those are hard conversations, but sometimes we have to parent the parents.
Yeah, and this whole podcast is called Local Leaders, and
Mhm.
that's a big part of leadership
Mhm.
is having the difficult conversations.
It is. It's almost like putting, as they say, put your big girl panties on. I mean, these are these moments,
Yeah.
and I mean, I'll have those conversations with parents, and I will say the ones who listen, they respect it. They respect it all day, every day. And I don't say I'm not gonna say anything mean or hurtful to anybody. But at least they can say, you know what? She was willing to say it and I should probably take it into consideration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, having those conversations isn't easy,
Mm-mm.
and I think a lot of people don't equate the 2 of, you being a business owner and
Mm-hmm.
leadership in its own right of leading your team
Yep.
and your employees, and that's one thing,
Right.
but you also have to lead the parents
Mm-hmm.
and lead the patient
Yep.
and the kid or the adult
Mhm.
who's there to, like, it's also a servant leadership
Yeah. It is.
because we're serving,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's, having difficult conversations is something that I've had to learn how to do
Me too.
over the years, and
Yeah.
no one likes them.
No one likes them. And I feel like probably last year, this year, I've had to let people go. And that was two of the hard things I've had to do in my life.
Mhm.
Because it's like, one, I mean, people gotta eat.
Yeah.
We're in even more difficult times now, but I'm like,
Mhm.
people gotta eat. But it's also like, I gotta run my business too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, especially I'll tell you two things. When it starts to come down to money, that's when you see a whole different side of me. Because we're talking about pennies. We're talking and I will give and I love Davita. She helps us with just like some overhead stuff and everything, consults us. But I love her because what she taught me to do was say, make it so it's gonna start hurting their pockets. And I will, and we would go through some and say, well, you don't do this when you don't do this, when you don't do this, the business doesn't get paid. And you know who else won't get paid if we're not doing X, Y, and Z? That's right. It will be you. Because
Mhm.
the house always gonna get paid.
Yeah. Well, right, and because if not, we just got a very expensive hobby.
Right. That's right. That's right.
So, I've I've had to learn that too.
Uh-huh.
This is the first business that I've had because 'cause I've had several.
Yeah.
This is the first business that I've had to where I've made it a point to pay me first.
Yeah. Me too.
Now, I have a whole system that I have set up with my online banking. I have drives my wife crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I have 6 bank accounts for my business. She's
That's way
like,
too many.
"That's what she says." But it helps me
I mean, yeah.
because I have one account where all the money goes into,
Mm-hmm.
and then
You have like a bill.
it's basically the envelope system for a business,
Right.
and I allocate a percentage of the revenue
Mm-hmm.
into each account,
That makes sense.
set it up for profit, owner's compensation,
Mm-hmm.
taxes, and operating expenses.
Nice. Makes
So,
sense.
I mean, I have those percentages preset based
Mm-hmm.
on how much it takes to run my business,
Mm-hmm.
and but I make sure that the profit comes out first
Mm-hmm.
and my pay comes out first.
Yeah. House gets paid.
Then taxes because Sam wants to get paid.
Yes. Yes, he does.
So, yeah, it's that's the difficult side sometimes
Oh, yeah.
that we
Oh,
run
yeah.
into
I mean, people don't even see the behind the scenes. Like, I was looking at
or
things
understand
and,
it
oh, nobody would ever,
or understand it.
ever, yeah. Because I'm in a speech therapy private practice group,
Mhm.
and people were talking about, well, you have the anonymous people that are like, I'm working for a private practice and I don't think I'm getting paid fairly. And then somebody was just like the other day, I was like, listen, we pay y'all not what we feel like paying y'all because we know y'all are doing the work, but basically it's the overhead kills you. If
Mhm.
if I didn't have my overhead, things would be easy breezy.
Mhm.
But the overhead kills you. Cause Abigail asked me the other day, she was like, is our charting system expensive? I said, yes, it is. I said that is I said besides rent, I said that is one of the most expensive bills. And I said it's an expensive bill I'm willing to pay because it'll keep us all out of jail. I
Yeah.
was like, but I was like, on the flip side, I'm like, yeah, I said it's expensive in every um depending on who you are in the business, like my billing assistant, her account is free because it's not really doing too much. But like if you have an admin, theirs is a charge. Any clinician on the I mean, it's expensive.
It adds up quick.
Yeah, because each clinician is $100.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it adds up quickly.
And like we said, insurance pays on their schedule.
They pay on their schedule, and they pay how much they want to pay you.
So moving off insurance before this gets in a weird, dark conversation. What is the biggest misconception people may have about speech therapy?
They don't need it.
Mm.
And that, I will say, it used to crush me. But then I was just like, if you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. And some people would say, that's harsh to say. No, it's not. If you want it, you want it. If you don't, you don't. It's just like anything. There's consequences behind it.
So if they say they don't need it, do they know why they should have it?
Yes.
Okay. So
Mhm.
so they do understand it, and they do know the why
Mm-hmm.
and the value of it. They just think that they don't need it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And kind of like what I talk about in some of my videos is that I think people want to, not to say get rich quick scheme, but you catch my drift on it. They want something done quick,
Mhm.
or they want the results quickly, and that's just not the case.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
What's one thing you wish every parent knew before calling you?
Mm-hmm. That it works. It works, but everybody's got to play a part in the process because
It's a team effort.
it's a team effort. It
Mhm.
doesn't stop once you get out the door.
Yeah.
People got to work with their kids at home, and I think we've lost a sense of that since COVID. Like, people don't read books to their kids. People don't talk to their kids. I'm not saying everybody, but I think, well, I'll just be honest with you. Some parents just aren't parents anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's unfortunate.
Do you think like it started with COVID or before that?
I think it amplified.
Yeah. I think because I coached cheerleading for 20 years
Mm-hmm.
and I could see a gradual
Shift.
shift.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what happened is and this is my theory, not backed by any science,
Yeah.
but
You sure? No, I'm just playing.
nope, I haven't paid the research yet. I think that a certain age group of kid, and I'm not trying to be vague. I'm just saying that as people started having kids at a certain
Mm-hmm.
age, they wanted to be the opposite of how they were raised.
Yep. But they go to the far end.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
Because they didn't like the authority, that they didn't like the structure.
Mm-hmm.
And so they went to the opposite end of that spectrum.
Right.
And I think that that's when
Mm-hmm.
issues started happening. They stopped being parents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's this is my 5-year-old daughter and this is my best friend.
Right. Yeah. Or we're sitting the iPad in front of them just to pacify them. That is my biggest no-no. Because a lot of people are like, why not? And I'm like, and I'm not saying they're not learning. That's not what I'm saying. But it's an occupant.
Mm-hmm.
And when you take it away, then they're like in rage mode. I had a little boy I worked with at the school system. They let him sit in front of a computer whole day. And if I tried to take him off of it, oh, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
When I'm telling you, a nightmare. And I'm like, why do y'all allow him to sit in here on it? Oh, it helps him. It keeps him calm. I'm like, take the computer out. That'll fix everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then he won't be able. I'm like, no, that doesn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm telling you I got nothing done, because he was fixated on the computer. And I'm like, that battle wasn't won.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. It has to be a team effort. Parents have to be involved.
Oh, yeah. It's passive, what we call, I love this term, passive parenting is not an option.
Mm-mm.
It's not an option.
No.
Because then it's like you're kicking the can down the road. And eventually you got to address it. You've got to hit it head on, whether you want to or not.
Girl, you'll get me a whole another podcast. This is...
We always do this.
Yeah, we can go down that road and I can let some feelings out. because I have very strong feelings on that topic.
Oh, the passive parenting?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and just like
It doesn't work. I'll just say that.
it doesn't. And I mean, I'm 46 with a 2-year
Mhm.
old, and
Mhm.
he's my only one.
Mhm.
You know, I joke that I'll be almost retired at graduation, but at the same time, it's like he's going to get my attention.
Right.
It won't be a computer, and it won't be a screen.
Right.
We have a very strict policy in our house, me and my wife both, that if we're on our phones or our
Mhm.
computer and he comes up to us, no
Mm.
matter what, it gets
It
put
go
down
yeah. Mhm. I agree.
because he has to know that we're there for him
Right.
and our attention's on him and not a screen.
Mhm.
Because if our attention is on a screen, his will want to be.
Mhm. Mhm. I agree.
I'm not anti-screen,
Right.
but I also because I think technology
It's a way of the world.
it is, and
Yeah.
and there's no way around it.
Right.
And I think it's very valuable.
Mhm.
It's what I make a living on,
Right.
right? So, but at the same time, and no telling how it's going to be when he gets older.
Right.
But he he has to have that connection
Mhm.
from us, not a
Mhm.
screen.
Right.
And I'm so steadfast in that.
Mhm.
And so, we're very good at that, and we'll let him watch. He likes looking at photos and videos of himself and the family,
That's funny.
but we're always like, no, buddy, we just did it. Let's
Yeah.
do something else.
Yeah.
It's not an all day thing.
Right.
And we make sure that luckily, I will say that we're not tested in the fact that he's a bad kid.
Mhm.
When we go out to eat,
Mhm.
he's perfectly fine. I
Mhm.
mean, so we're very lucky in that we're not
Mhm.
tempted to say here.
Right.
Because I mean, I get that temptation. I really, really do.
Yeah.
So luckily we're not that tempted because he's very
Mhm.
talkative.
Well, that's
He's
good.
very
Engaging.
engaging,
Yeah, that's good.
and I think part of that is how we raise him,
Mhm. Yeah.
because we're intentional about that.
Right,
So
right.
I think that goes in hand.
Mhm.
At least again,
Yeah.
personal experience. That's what works for us.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
no scientific data at all. Just
No.
very, very, very small sample.
Yeah. Yeah, when people are like, "Yeah, well, what's your thoughts on tablets?" I'm like, "I don't think I'm buying my child one." And they're like, "What?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Why am I buying them something that they're probably gonna tear up?" That's just my personal opinion. Because I've had parents say, "Yeah, they tore their iPad up." I'm like, depending on what version you bought, that's an expensive.
Yep.
Yeah,
Get the Apple Care.
that's true. And I just bought one. And they got theft on it now. I said, "What?" I was like, "Go Apple."
um, so where do you see Crimson Therapy Services in the next 5 years?
Definitely more locations.
Really? So you want to franchise it out?
They see, I didn't even tell you that.
You didn't.
I didn't. See, you're onto something. I want to franchise it.
I love it.
I don't want to, and I say this very transparently. I don't want to put all the effort and work into another location.
Hmm.
I want to keep what I have and perfect it.
Hmm.
But I would like to sow those seeds
Hmm.
that other people can buy in, have the foundation laid out, and they can work through that. Because I thought about it, I was telling Abigail, I said, say we have a location in Columbus. I said, and one person doesn't show up. Guess who has to go work it?
Hmm.
Me.
Hmm.
I said, but if it's franchise and their employee doesn't show up, that's on them.
Yeah.
It's not on me.
You get paid no matter what.
I get paid no matter what. And I mean, yeah. So that's kind of my take on it. I would like to put more effort in improving what we already have.
Sure.
Because I feel like sometimes when you have this, this, and this, and this, you're pulled so many ways that you can't back to impact. You can't make the biggest impact.
Right.
But if you're focused on one thing, then you can just continue to just add on, and grow. So yeah.
I think that's exciting. I'm excited for you.
I know I'm excited about it too. So we'll see how it goes. Well, I won't say we'll see how it goes. It's gonna go great.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's gonna be franchise, and adding some more services onto it.
Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm pumped.
See, I know.
I am pumped.
See, I was gonna say you was already in my Kool-Aid about franchising. I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna be like, well, but then you brought up. I was like, we'll go ahead and say.
Well, sorry, I didn't mean to let it out of the bag. But
nah, it's fine. It's out of the bag now. So all gas,
gotta
no
make it happen.
Look, all gas, no brakes.
That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned stepping out from the hospital
Yeah.
and starting your own business.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give somebody who has a side hustle?
Mm-hmm.
That's the key word right now.
Mhm.
That's the big hot word right now. Is
It
the
is
side hustle.
Yeah.
That has a side hustle,
Mm-hmm.
but wants to step out.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give them to? They want to do it, but
Mm-hmm.
they're scared.
Well, first of all, and we always have this conversation.
Mhm.
So first of all, you got to know that you know that you know that you know that you know that you're called to do it. That's number one, hands down. It's not I was talking to Troy at the SBDC the other day. He was like, yeah, he said, I've had people tell me, yeah, I want to do this business and it's based off of a logo. And he's like, that's not a business. But from my personal experience, and I might have shared this with God told me to open up a business.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
That's just my experience. But if it's something that you're passionate about, like one thing I would say is, can your business sustain itself for 30 years?
Right.
And that can be with pivots.
Mhm.
You can do
Right.
cakes for 10 years and switch it to bread the next 10 years and switch to cheese. It doesn't matter. I feel like you can pivot.
Mhm.
For people who are hesitant or scared, I always say just try it. Because that's where you're gonna know
Yeah.
whether it's gonna be a flop or not. The biggest thing is you're gonna have failures along the way. And I think that's what scares a lot of people is the failure portion. Because you're gonna fail at some point. I feel like I failed a million times before I got here.
Yeah.
Still fail.
Daily.
Daily. Literally.
Listen, you are not an entrepreneur if you don't fail at something during the day.
And I think people think that it's just gonna be smooth sailing. They're gonna be. I mean, you very well could be the next Jeff Bezos and what's the guy with Apple?
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. I mean, you can. I mean, I don't count anybody out, but all those people fail.
Yeah.
I mean, but I love to hear like where people started. So I've got to do, and I am going to do a podcast about that one day.
Yeah.
It's about like where people started and where they're at now. Because like, was it Amazon? They started out with, it was just a book company.
Right.
And he started in his garage.
Right.
Literally.
Dave Ramsey talks about how he started his business on a card table in his living room.
Yeah.
And, you know, he went through his whole thing and he started that. And he always says something that resonates with me. He's like, I showed up every day. I showed up on the radio every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day I showed up, I won some, I lost some.
Yeah.
And then when it finally went big,
Mm-hmm.
everyone thought that it was an overnight success.
Right. They don't
And
see.
there's
Yeah.
no such thing because
None.
they don't see the hard days. They don't see
Nope.
the starting,
No.
right? And so, yeah, and I would even add to what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would give I would, if you're looking to jump into something full time
Mm-hmm.
and you have a day job,
Mm-hmm.
set a percentage of your current income.
Yeah. That's very good advice.
Like if you had patients and you were bringing in 50 to 75% of your day job's income,
Mm-hmm.
I would think about doing it then.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
But if you have one client that's barely paying you,
Yeah. Then you.
that doesn't
yeah.
mean you have a business.
Right.
So hold on.
Yeah, just pump your brakes.
Let's make sure this thing's gonna work.
But that's real because I actually had a conversation because I knew a lady I went to church with and she opened her own CPR business.
Mhm.
And she was like, y'all, she's like, I was making 6 figures. And I'm like, I wouldn't leave a 6-figure job to go on business.
Are they
But
hiring?
she
Because
did.
I will close this right now.
Yeah, but yeah, she left that job and she opened up her own CPR business.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna call her, even though I know it's totally different field, I want to call her and get her opinion on it. And so I told her, I said, yeah, I said, this is what I could make without the hospital. She said, I don't think that's a question about you leaving. She said, I'm gonna pray for you just like you're gonna pray for yourself. She's like, but I don't think that's a question. She was like, if you're gonna make this much more than you're working at the hospital, she was like, I wouldn't stay.
Mhm.
She said, I would not stay. And I was like, really? She's like, mm-mm. She said, no. She said, why? And I was like, job security? But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. And I think, like I said, going back to failure, a lot of people are afraid to fail. But, and if you listen to my podcast, if you do it with God, you're never gonna fail. You're gonna have some bumps in the road.
100%.
And I think that's where, when the bumps do hit, that's when people are like, never mind, just don't. Because it was one point, I forgot what point it was because I've had a couple, but it was one point I was just like, you know what, I'm shutting it down. This is it. I'm just not going to worry about it. It's not like I got a whole bunch of money invested. Like, I'm good.
Listen, I feel like if you don't think about going back to a day job at least 3 or 4 times a quarter,
Oh, yeah.
you're not an entrepreneur.
You're not.
You're not a small business owner.
Mm-mm.
Like
Not at all.
I fight that urge so many. I'll like look at the Indeed app on my
Me
phone
too. Me too.
and be
I'm
like,
like,
do I really want
I'm
to
like, who's hiring? Or they'll send me the text. They're like,
Yeah.
hey, you can make this. I'm like, that sounds pretty good right about now.
Yeah.
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 But no, it gets tempting, but then it's also like, and my friends, they're like, they'll applaud me. I even went to a new doctor today and she was like, you're the boss. She was like, if nobody's ever told you, I'm proud of you. I was like, well, thank you.
And see, and God sends you somebody like that at the right
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. It's like,
And you're just like, I was just ready to go look for a job.
right. It's like, okay. Cause I remember
Yeah.
one day I had a rough day with the kids. I was like, ugh. Man, this is like the roughest day. And then I had that one kid who comes in and I'm like, this is what I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be doing. Yeah. It's one of those moments when you look like on forward. I'm like, I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it at first, but
I tell you, I've gone through spurts and recently where it's been like a week, and I know that sounds small to some people. It's like a week of just being punched and punched and punched and kicked and kicked and kicked, and it's like, why am I even doing this? Like it's this isn't working. I either suck at this job, I'm not good, I'm not helping anybody. You know, and just the stress and all that stuff.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, one person says something. It's like,
Yep.
okay, something may be clicking.
Mhm.
And then later that day or the next day, somebody else will like just reach out to me. Hey, you know, looking for a video. I'm like,
It's like, okay.
It's almost like God is just like got a fishing line and just kind of dangling it in front of me, just like, come on, keep going.
Yeah, keep going. Come
Keep
on.
going.
Yeah, because I'll sit there and I was like, so my little affirmation for 2026 has been, I'm like, I'm going to strike gold this year.
Yeah.
I'm like, 2026, I'm going to strike gold. It's almost like, I don't know if you like see, it's like that picture. It's like the 2 men and they're like digging. They're digging. And it's like that one man who turns around and he's right there.
I have thought about that so much in the past 3 months.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm like, man, when am I gonna strike gold? Like, when is it gonna happen? When? And I was like, I'm gonna stop saying when and gonna say 2026. I am striking gold.
Yeah.
That's it, hands down. I don't care if anybody likes it, doesn't want. I'm striking gold. And when I do, I'm going on a big vacation.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm tired. I gotta leave for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But I was actually listening to something Sunday, and it's crazy. It's always like the Sundays that I don't go to church, I'll watch something online, and I'm like, man, that was powerful. And I'm like, I had church at home.
Sometimes, listen, sometimes church finds you.
It really does. And I was like, I was tired and I was like, and I felt bad. I was like, man, I really did want to go to church. I really want to go. And but I don't know if you listen to Ray Roberts. He's a pastor.
Mm-mm.
But he's very like driven on business. That is like his mantra. Like he is like very driven. I was looking on Instagram and it's like, hey, I'm doing a pop-up in Miami. And I was like, you couldn't come to Atlanta? I'm like, I want to like talk business with you. And
Yeah.
so I put in the chat, I'm like, when you come to Atlanta, like do Atlanta. He's like thumbs up. I'm like, he better
I'm
come
hold
to
you to that.
Atlanta. Yeah. So he has he has a podcast called The Call,
Okay.
and then he does the Call conference. So last year it was in LA. This year it's gonna be he's doing like a mini pop-up. I think this week, I believe. And then in April next year, he's doing the conference there in Miami. So I was like, I hope it's not the same week as I'm supposed to go to my other conference because I gotta go. I'm like, I gotta go this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, but he's big on business, but he said some really good things about, um, and I don't mean to get off on this topic, but it's like, I know back in the day that, people feel like you're not supposed to have money and all this type of stuff. He's like, no, he's like, people were business owners in the Bible. And I'm like, I never thought about that.
I think that comes actually in the Christian culture more than anything.
It does. It does. And then I was like, we are supposed to be business owners.
Mhm.
But people are afraid to because of the risk. And I'm like,
Well, people are afraid to because they think the Bible says money is the root of all evil.
and it's not, it says for the love.
Bam.
For the love. Because a lot of people think, they're like, oh, you're a business owner. You have a lot of money. I'm like, check the bank account. All right.
9 times out of 10, I have less than you do.
Right.
Yeah.
People like, you just make it. I'm like, no, I'm on a low salary.
Mhm.
I'm like, very low salary. People like, huh?
No, they don't get
It's
that.
like you're not supposed to say that out loud. I'm like, no, I don't mind saying that. I'm okay with that. I get my bills paid
For now.
for now. I said, now, I plan to make X and do whatever I want to in the next couple of years. I said,
Right.
that's just I talked to my financial planner about that. I said, that's what we're going to do. I said, but for now, I'm good.
Mhm.
As long as my personal bills are getting paid, I can eat, I can do a couple of things. As long as the business is good, I'm good.
Mhm.
I ain't got to do nothing else. I don't have to live this. I got to go buy the latest shoes, go buy the latest car. No,
Yeah.
no. Even though I still want my Porsche. But not yet.
Is that gonna be the first expense you make when you start franchising?
It will be
There you go.
because I have to go to the other ones. So that's my business car.
Hey, you got that right.
And I'm just saying I'm gonna go all out.
You got that right. It's got to be a dependable car. And a
Yeah,
Porsche is
that's
very
right.
dependable.
And it meets the weight limit for the business car. Because it has to be
You
a
have
weight
done
limit.
your research.
Listen. Because you have to have, because I always try to figure out, I was like, why do people have G-Wagons? And they said, and my uncle told me, because he's very money savvy, and they said it has to be a certain weight limit. And so I tried to go look at a Honda. They was like, it doesn't mean. I said, it doesn't? They said, nope. I said, man, well, I just got to save up for the Porsche.
Darn.
I was like, oh man, now I
Oh.
gotta go get it with the red exterior, red interior with the gold rims. What a shame.
You haven't given any thought to that at all.
None.
None. We kind of touched on this, but
Yeah.
I do want to ask this question. And I think I know the answer to this.
Mhm.
But what keeps you going on the hard days?
I think what keeps me going on the hard days is like, cause and I'll say this. So the same lady I talked to who had her own business, she sent me this long text, and I have it saved in my phone. And it was like scriptures, and it was what she talked to God about with me and stuff like that. And I think that's what keeps me per se grounded.
Mhm.
I have to go back to that in my mind because sometimes I'm like, I wasn't supposed to do this, and then sometimes I get in my mind like, you did it too early, and then I always have to remember that text message. I'm like, nope,
Mhm.
nope, you did it right on time. You did it. Cause I mean, it was times I was just like, I said, I don't think I was supposed to do this. It
Yeah.
was really times I was back against the wall. I was like, I'm not supposed to do this. And then when different things like started getting cut, because a lot of people really got nervous when like the stuff got cut for education and
Mhm.
Medicaid fund, and a lot of people was like, "What are you gonna do?" I was like, "I'm gonna run my business."
Mhm.
I mean, you have to figure things out because we've even started for 2026. We're gonna start doing payment plans. So if you need to do a payment plan, there you go. There's your option. If you want to pay cash, if your insurance is too much, then here you go.
Yeah.
Because I actually, my adult client today, he was asking, he was like, "Do I come every other week or so?" I was like, "No, every week." I said, "But we have," I said, "if your insurance costs too much or your deductible was too high," I said, "This is our payment plan." He said, "Oh, that's so good." So I was like, "Well," I was like, "Okay, God, thank you." I
Yeah.
was like, so I did something right. So yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
Being proactive on things like that is important.
And that's why I tell people I'm a very proactive person versus than reactive.
Mhm.
And there's some things you're just not gonna get around, but some things I'm like, I see what's coming, and that was definitely what Teray was talking about. He was like, "There's darkness coming. There's darkness
Yeah.
coming. You better figure things out because when it comes, you're not gonna be able to figure it out. Then it's gonna be too late." And so, yeah.
Well, I think that's a big part of what makes a good leader
hmm
is having the vision to see those things coming.
Oh yeah,
Now, some things we you know
we just
we
can't.
just can't,
Right.
right? But having that vision to see what's coming down the road,
Oh yeah.
to make that pivot when
hmm
you need to before you get there,
Right.
um, it's that's a skill,
Oh
and
yeah.
like you don't know how to do that,
You
right?
don't.
And so
Where I got it from, I don't know.
right, yeah, it's because I'm sure that you've had to build that and develop that before you started your business. You just didn't know that's what you're training for,
No, that's good.
right?
Yeah, that's
So
true.
because our experiences lead us here,
That's
and our
right.
experiences give us our skill.
Yep.
So I think that you have developed that
Mhm.
without knowing it.
Yeah, because I would tell people I was that person like like when I was in high school, I was like, "Imma go to college," you know?
Hmm.
I knew to do those things, but I got in college, I played around, and then when all of my friends started graduating before me, I was like, "Well, I gotta get it together." I
Hmm.
was like, I gotta get, like, my ducks in a row,
Yeah.
literally. And I mean, I was just like, I guess I started kicking into gear because when people were like, yeah, when I applied to college, I was like, oh, I didn't do that. My mom did that for me, or they did that for me. And then I was like, okay, I gotta start doing some things. And so I guess my instincts started to kick in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, crazy.
All right. Last question,
Yeah.
and this is what I asked you to think about ahead of time. I don't know if you had a chance to.
hmm
Um, what do you want people to say about your contribution to this community 10 years from now?
I
Because
want them.
because those that don't know, she is very involved in the chamber.
hmm
Um, if there's a chamber event, odds are you're going to see ISIS,
I'm there.
which I'm jealous because I really wish I could go to more.
I know. Don't
But
forget next week it's the Christmas. Okay.
see,
I was just letting you know.
um, so yeah, so 10 years from now,
hmm
you're very involved in this community.
hmm
Um, it's a great community.
It is.
I mean, I have fallen in love with this community.
Mhm.
What do you want to be known for your contributions 10 years from now?
I want to, for me, I want to leave a legacy behind that people will not just know my business, but know that she really did try to do what was best for the community itself. That's my biggest thing. I don't ever want to, um, because I don't know if I'll be here for forever. I
Right.
would hope to, but I never want to leave a place where people aren't saying, man, that was that was a really terrible. I want people to be like, no, like she helped this community. She helped build that. She helped put that together. Those are the things I want people to be able to say. She made a big impact here. She made kids made sure the kids had this here, or ALS and stroke patients, they had this here. So those are the big pieces to the puzzle that I want to eventually at some point connect for people to say this was her impact. Because I felt like even after every job I left, I felt like I always made a big impact. Like somebody, when I even left Piedmont for forever, they were like, I'm sad to see you go. I didn't get a chance to say goodbye, but you did this, and this. I
Mhm.
always want to leave an impact when I
Yeah.
leave someplace. Yeah.
I love it. Like I said, you're speaking my language, so I love it.
That's our word for 2026,
It is.
impact.
100%.
Yeah.
I've told people a lot in the past few weeks that
Mm-hmm.
back in about 2019, 19,
Mm-hmm.
it really hit me. Like it's again one of those things where it just kind of throughout my life, I'd been planting seeds in
Mm-hmm.
my own self,
Mm-hmm.
and then in 19, it hit me what my personal mission statement is.
Mm.
Not a business one, but my personal one,
Yeah.
and it's to leave a legacy of impact.
Mm-hmm. And that's where you got your name.
It's every business I've owned has had either the word impact or legacy in it.
Wow.
Not
Nice.
not knowing that.
Oh, wow.
So I just was thinking about that one day. I was like, well, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Like subconsciously, I was planting those seeds and putting those together
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah,
those two words have such strong meaning to me.
they do.
Legacy has a very personal meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's just one day it just hit me,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
And I'm actually pivoting my thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it's to make more of an impact
Mm-hmm.
in what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why 26 is mine.
Yeah.
It is. It's
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, and they took me. They said, "Now, are you calling me to try to hire me?" And I said, "Well, I ain't got no money to hire you." I said, "So no on that part." I said, "Kind of yes." I said, "But," I said, "the biggest thing is," I said, "I want to consult with you on some do's and don'ts." I said, because I said, I just feel like it's just a need. I
yeah.
said, sometimes I said, time is out. This is what I want to see. I don't want to tell somebody else to go do it. I want to do it. Because
Mhm.
I mean, at a certain point, well, I won't say at a certain point. I've just personally gotten to the point where it's like, okay, if I see a problem, I just need to go ahead and just fix it.
Mhm.
There's no need to talk about it. There's no need to gripe about it. If you want it done, fix it. And that's how I mean, I'm that way in my personal life. Don't gripe about it, fix it. If you're griping about going to the place, don't go. And people are like, why would you say that? Well, I always say, be the solution to the problem. Don't add to it. Write it down.
Honey, I don't have to because you're really. It's funny how God puts people in your life to
Uh-huh.
tell you certain things without directly telling it to you.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things. It's like I've been working on some things within Chad right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you telling me that. It's just like, okay, God, I hear you.
It's like I hear you loud and clear.
Uh-huh. So I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I won't charge you this time.
This time,
This time. But yeah.
that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, I can't thank you enough.
Oh
I've
yeah, I
taken enough of your
enjoyed it.
time of today,
Yeah.
but go see Isis. You'll see her all around the community. You'll see her at all the chamber events. If you have a child who needs speech therapy,
Yeah.
an adult
Mm-hmm. That's
going
right.
through it,
Yeah.
she's fantastic. I've talked to her patients, the parents.
Yeah.
I've talked to her team. She's got a great team.
Thank you.
She's, this is called Local Leaders, but she really leads her team and her patients and their parents with integrity, with value, and I'm very honored to have gotten to meet you.
I know. Thank you. I really enjoyed this. We kept talking about it, and
Yeah.
We did it.
Well, this is a normal conversation for us.
It really is.
So this might as
We
well
just
put the
got
cameras on.
I was gonna say we just got microphones in front of us this time.
Yeah, this is really just a normal conversation.
Yeah.
So, but yes, I can't thank you enough.
Thanks, Chad. I appreciate it
Oh,
as always.
before we go,
Yeah.
your podcast,
Yes. Oh.
where can they find it?
They can find it it's pretty much on all streaming platforms. It's called Minding My Business with Jesus. And my name is Isis Francesca Thomas. Yeah, we pretty much drop something every Friday. And it's really just speaking to people who either are entrepreneurs or want to go into being an entrepreneur. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate that shout out.
Boom, gotta have it.
I know. Thanks.
Awesome.